All right. Take 2.
Good afternoon. It's Robert and Julia Miller with the J. Patel Group and Rethink Real Estate with another exciting real estate update.
Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, we're a little late, but
yeah.
we're getting it done.
That's right. Episode number 52.
Moving right along.
We are.
Please like and subscribe. Much appreciated. Helps grow, our viewership, which is...
Grow our channel, help get more real estate news out to more people.
Perfect.
That's what we want to do.
All right, we have a lot to cover, so we'll get right to it.
We haven't done a stat report in a little while. So if you haven't seen one of those episodes, basically we run through our normal joke of the day, history for the week, and then we touch on regular news, economic regulatory and housing news, and then we jump into stats. These are stats for Maricopa County and, it's not just Maricopa County, it's the ARMLS, so Arizona Regional Multiple Listing Service. So that will be fun. So if you're not into nerdy stats, you'll want to stop listening after regulatory news.
Hopefully you don't. It's pretty interesting. There's some interesting commentary too.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So for the joke, I usually don't brag about going to expensive places, but I did just leave the gas station.
Yeah, it's gotten a little expensive out there.
Yeah, I used to be able to go to Costco and get it under $3, and the last time I was there, $3.22.
$3.20, yeah. Yeah, we're like, wow, that's painful.
Gas is going up, unfortunately.
Yep. Well, one difference between men and women is that if a woman says, smell this, it's usually something that smells nice.
That's true. That is true. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, dude, you gotta smell this. This is terrible.
No, exactly.
Okay, a little bit of history for this week. October 25th in 2001, the fossils of a 40-foot crocodile. That's a big crocodile.
That's a big crocodile.
From 110 million BC are unearthed.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an old
and big
crocodile.
1965, the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, Missouri is completed October 28th. 1955, the microwave oven is introduced for home use October 25th by the Tappan Company.
Yeah.
1919, Congress enacts alcohol prohibition October 28th with the passage of the Volstead Act.
Wah, wah.
So if you wanted to drink, you had to hop the border and head to Ensenada and Al Capone's stomping ground. And you could drink and then come back. Yeah. 1904, the New York City subway system opens October 27th, 1904.
And you skipped one. 1957, October 25th, Robert Miller was born. Gave away your date and everything. Happy birthday. You did have a birthday on Monday.
Thank you. And you took me on a cruise for my birthday, so I cannot complain a bit. Had a blast.
That's right. Yeah, we did have a good time.
Okay, 1858, H.E. Smith patents the rotary washing machine on October 26th. And then another patent, 1836, by Alonzo D. Phillips. He patents the phosphorus friction safety match. And then finally in 1825, on October 26th, the 363-mile Erie Canal connects Lake Erie to the Hudson.
To the Hudson River.
Yep.
Nice.
So that's your history for this week.
Very good. All right.
Let's jump quickly into some economic news. A bit of a deficit drag. Got some pretty unfavorable numbers here the last couple of weeks, but the economy's still going strong. Stock market's still doing fine. Last week, the Treasury Department reported the U.S. budget deficit totaled $2.772 trillion during the fiscal year 2021. Believe it or not, that's still below 2020's record $3.1 trillion shortfall, but still reflecting a second straight year of massive spending to support households and businesses through the coronavirus pandemic. And that according to Reuters.
Okay.
Been talking about mortgage rates, and Mortgage Bankers Association is piping in. Mortgage Bankers Association predicts total origination volume will drop 33%. So that includes refi and new loans. It's going to drop 33%.
Wow. Okay.
In 2022. As rising interest rates bring a sharp drop in refinances, originations for home purchases, however, are forecast to actually rise 9%. So, wow, the expectation is that refis are really going to fall off the edge.
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting to watch that.
Okay.
Okay, housing news. Impressive increase. Existing home sales jumped 7% in September. Impressive considering the ongoing lack of supply. And we're gonna talk about valley-wide lack of supply in the stat report.
Right.
Inventory sits. This is national number at 2.4 months, and we'll give you the
hold on to that number.
Valley number here in a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not 2.4, I tell you that. With median home prices increasing at a rate of 13%. So again,
we'll cover the armless increase number 2.
Right,
it's greater than 13%.
For the Valley compared to national.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are seeing, however, some bidding wars easing. As we've said, we're getting more into that. We're having a more typical year where the second half of the year is slower than the first half, which is the opposite of what we had last year, which was abnormal. So we're getting more in a historically normal market right now.
Yeah.
So despite rising sales, just 59% of home offers faced competition in September amid a seasonal housing market slowdown and an uptick in mortgage rates. That's the other thing that's kind of easing things a little bit, is we are seeing an uptick in the mortgage rates, and I'll have those for you.
Slight. I mean, it's not huge.
It's not huge, but we are seeing just a little bit ticking up each time. September marked the 5th straight month of bidding war declines, putting it on par with the rate from September 2020, which was 58.3%. And that's according to Redfin.com.
Redfin, okay.
Rising rents drive investors. So investors make up a large share of sales in August, and we're going to talk about investors as institutional buyers and investors as iBuyers, and the difference between the two. We're going to talk about that in the stat report. So they made up a larger share of sales in August, according to the National Association of Realtors. Meanwhile, first-time home buyers represented just 29% of all buyers.
Okay.
The lowest level in a decade. Home prices continue to rise sharply, weakening affordability but bolstering rental demand, and that's where a lot of these institutional investors are coming from. We'll get into that. Regulatory news. Fed restrictions, policymakers. You remember a couple months ago we talked about there was some complaints about some investing, stock investing related by policymakers relating to changes that were being made at the federal level, and there was some complaints that they were using that information to do investments. And so amid scrutiny, the Federal Reserve announced new rules last week prohibiting policymakers from individual securities purchases, tightening restrictions on active trading, and mandating timelier public disclosures. Officials and senior staff will be limited to diversified investment vehicles like mutual funds. So that's interesting. That's according to Reuters. Finally, vacation home rule vacated. I didn't even know this was here. This flew under my radar. A March 2021 rule to limit Fannie Mae ownership of second home and other investment property loans effectively made it more challenging and expensive to take out second home mortgages. It was reversed in September to boost overall housing, including investment homes for rentals. Redfin.com. I'm surprised in the housing market that we're in that we needed any boosting. Seems odd that this is even an issue, considering the housing market that we're in. Maybe I'm missing something, but at any rate, that is your news. Let's move on to this stat report. I'll move through this.
The meat and the potatoes.
Yep, we'll move through this as quickly as possible. It's put together every month by Armless and a commentary by Tom Ruff. This is for September, so sales are up 3.8% month over month. The year-over-year comparison is actually down 3.9%. So
Which
again,
is not surprising.
we're seeing some tapering off, and we're in more of a traditional housing time frame where normally we expect things to taper off towards the end of the year, and that's what we're seeing compared to last
But
year.
really, down 3.9 is not,
It's not huge, but it's
all.
not what, it was moving like this last year. So you just compare even down at all compared to last year is big. It's a big difference in what we were at. Okay, new inventory decreased month over month, and year over year it's also decreased 6.4%. And again,
And that's new inventory. That's new homes
inventory
being put
coming
on the
in
market.
into the market. Now, total inventory, month over month increase of 1.4%, but yeah, so we did see an increase. That's good for buyers. However, year over year, we're down 15.2%. That's huge.
Yeah.
Month supply of inventory, we talked about the national number being 2.40. The valley is at 1.31. What that means, the way they calculate that is if nothing came on the market, nobody listed their home for sale, in 5 weeks, there would be 0 homes available for sale in the valley. We would have no homes to sell.
We'd be out of work.
We'd be all out of work. So, fortunately, that doesn't happen, but still, that's a scary.
No, but it still is a very low inventory.
5 weeks is really
People
low.
are saying, "Oh, inventory is building back up." Not enough.
A little bit.
Some,
we are
but
seeing some improvement, but it has a
1.3.
long way to go.
Yeah.
Okay. So average new list price is up 18.3% year over year. The median average list price, or the median year over year price is up 26.9%.
26%. Yeah.
Now the most important one, the average sales price is up 19.8%.
And we just talked about nationally it being 13%.
13. So the valley is 19.8. So we're even
definitely
healthier.
above national average. Yep.
The median is 24.6, almost 25%.
Median year over year.
Year over year. Yowzer.
Yeah, that's,
you remember in June
prices are still rising. Is the bottom line out of those numbers?
Right. Yeah. The average sales price. You remember it hit as a big deal. We made a May, June. It hit 500. It's dropped back down where the average is 492, but that's still
just under 500.
And it
barely.
was 410 this time last year.
Right.
So that's considerably 25% below.
Right.
Okay. Foreclosures.
Foreclosures.
Everybody's always worried about foreclosures.
No.
The foreclosures pending. Now this is the number pending. The ones that actually go into foreclosure is a fraction of what goes into pending. Remember.
And we debunked this a little on the last episode as well.
When a home, it's automatic on the 91st day. If they're delinquent 90 days, that means 3 months, they haven't made a payment on the 91st day, it goes into foreclosure.
It's an automatic.
It's an automatic, it just
filing, basically.
Goes into foreclosure. Doesn't mean they're not going to work something out. They're going to get caught up and make those payments. They're going to refinance a million different things.
Yeah.
They could sell it. They're probably up in equity. They could just say, you know what, let's just get it sold and we'll pay the difference at closing. There's a number of different ways that it ends up not making it to actual foreclosure, and we're going to give you those numbers.
So what's the
here in a
pending month over month number then?
So the pending number is 808.
808.
Okay.
Which is a decrease of?
It was 1447 last year this time. So it's a 44% decrease year over year.
And then month over month it's down 3.5%.
Yeah, 3.5.
Maybe you said that already, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of just hovering.
Yeah.
It actually dropped and dropped and dropped. Now it's kind of flat.
Wait to hear these next numbers.
This is the mind-blowing part. Okay. So how many actually made it to foreclosure?
Right.
14. In the month of September, in the entire valley,
right.
there was 14.
Wow.
I'll give you the breakdown. It was 11 lender-owned sales
Okay.
and 3 short sales.
So if you're waiting for a short sale,
So
or
if you're
you're
waiting to pick up a
for
short
a
sale,
lender sale,
you may want to revisit that strategy because
that's
it's
really not really gonna.
probably not going to happen. That represents 0.2% of all the sales
Right.
from last year. So if you're worried about a major tsunami of foreclosures hitting the market, that's not going to happen.
I like this. Short sales went down 75% year over year.
So that means there was 12 last year, right?
Right.
3 this year, this
3,
month,
yeah.
and there would have been 12 last month.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And then-
75%.
It's 75%.
But
Lender-owned sales dropped 62% year over year. Okay, then.
So
Days on market.
30, kind of staying flat, right at 30. We were at 46 last year this time, so it is down about 16%, or down 16. But yeah, it's just hovering right at 30.
Month over month went up a day. So people are saying, oh, things are sitting on the market longer.
Yeah, it's one day.
They're not.
On average, one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's different reasons homes sit on the market. And it's usually not the market. It's usually the home or the price being asked for the home that are the
Or the
reasons that it sits on
homeowner
the
not
market.
wanting to negotiate. You'd be surprised. Some sellers don't want to negotiate. That here's their price. This is what I want the buyer to pay.
So, certainly their prerogative.
That's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's move on to commentary by Tom Ruff because he had a lot to say and he covers a couple of different things. He looks at the absorption rate. Okay, that's one thing we're going to look at. And then we're going to look at institutional buyers versus iBuyers. And there is a big night and day difference between an institutional buyer and an iBuyer. And we're going to explain that and go over that. So, okay, so let's talk about absorption.
Okay.
The term absorption rate refers to a metric used in the real estate market to evaluate the rate at which available homes are sold in a specific market during a given time period. So how fast, once a home comes on the market, how fast does it sell?
Right.
What's the absorption rate? Okay, and that's a mathematical calculation.
Right.
Okay, the absorption rate is calculated by dividing the number of homes sold in the allotted time by the number of available homes. Okay, and that's how you get the absorption rate.
Sounds like an economics figure too.
Yeah, it's a statistic calculation.
Yeah.
Okay, our absorption rate peaked in March at the height of our frenzied market last spring. Our market showed a cooling trend for the next 4 months. Through July, we saw a slight increase in August, and now we've resumed our downward trend. Okay, in September.
Okay.
An absorption rate of 20.
20.
Remember that number. 20 is considered a balanced market.
Balanced market.
Between seller and buyer.
Uh-huh.
Our absorption rate at the beginning of September was 139.48.
Holy
compared to a
smokes.
normal absorption rate of 20.
Wow.
So needless to say, we are still very much in a seller's market.
Deep in a seller's market.
Inadequate supply to meet demand.
Right.
Wow. That is a huge number difference. In his market summary for the beginning of October, Michael Orr of the Cromford Report, he's another statistician that we follow for the Valley. Expert, yes. He stated the following: demand looked strong all the way through September, but not so much at the beginning of October. Under contract counts and sales numbers suggest we may have seen the best of 2021 demand. So we peaked and we're going to continue to slide out the year. With supply rising and demand appearing to plateau, we could possibly be in for some cooling during Q4, but do not expect prices to fall.
No, exactly.
Okay, now let's talk about institutional buyers to start with. And this is interesting. We're going to go back in time all the way to 2012. Appearing live on CNBC's Squawk Box on February 27th, 2012, Warren Buffett, when Buffett talks, people listen.
We listen, yeah.
Told Becky Quick he'd buy up a couple 100,000 single-family homes if it were practical to do so. If held for a long period and purchased at low rates, Buffett said houses are even better than stock. This guy became a multi-billionaire through the stock market, and he's
Said from an expert, a money
that's
expert.
a pretty big statement. So
Yeah.
I'd say some people listen to that.
That's good.
Currently, the institutional buyers are all in. In September, they acquired 999 homes in Maricopa County, exceeding only...
So, I'm sorry, remind us about what is an institutional
Well,
buyer.
I'll tell you what their model is here in
Okay.
just a second.
Sounds good.
Okay, so they acquired 999 homes.
Couldn't buy just one more?
And that exceeded only December of 2012, and he was talking in Buffett was talking in 2012. That number in December of 2012 was 1,006, so
Yes,
it barely
so it's barely
beat it.
higher, yeah, 7 homes.
Okay, the institutional model is to buy and hold. So these folks buy and then they lease the properties out.
Most likely leasing
And then
the
they
properties
let
out,
them,
yeah.
they make
Okay.
income from the rental, and then they also make income as it appreciates.
Okay, so an investor.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a little mind-blowing to remember. In February of 2012, the median price for a resale home in Maricopa County was $122,500.
Wow.
Today's median, $410.
410.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now let's talk about iBuyers.
Shift gears to iBuyers.
Okay. So institutionals actually take inventory off the market because they buy it and they hold it.
Right. They decrease the
a number of available homes. Okay,
homes.
so they're a
Yeah.
direct competition for first-time home buyer,
Yes.
moving up home buyer,
Right.
moving down size, whatever.
But an iBuyer is different.
Right. iBuyers have been on a recent buying spree.
Yes, they have.
Their model is to buy and sell. Now, the thing you got to remember is they don't have an impact on the number of, long-term anyway, on the number of homes available in the market, because they buy it, sell it in 90 days on average, flip it, and it goes right back in the market again.
Yeah.
Okay, so
They want to get rid of it as quickly as possible, get it off their
Yes.
inventory.
So they're not, when they buy a home, they're not necessarily reducing the number of homes available, because they're actually going to put it back on the market
It's
and
just-
make it
yeah.
available. So
It's a rebalancing.
it's a one-to-one.
And not only that, they're not a competition to the first-time home buyers or anything like that, because these are homes that probably wouldn't be on the market from the seller directly. The sellers that sell to iBuyers are the ones that say, I don't want to have to go through home showings, and I don't want to have my home look like a hotel, and people coming through it, or a model home, people coming through my house, and that's these sellers.
There's the convenience
They
and-
sell to the iBuyers, or I don't want to do repairs.
Yeah, they have the flexibility of not having to deal with repairs. They're going to have to pay for it.
Yeah, they take a different price than they would if it was on the
Well,
open
there's
market.
a credit that they're going to expect that the buyer
The iBuyer
is
will
expecting the
expect-
seller to pay them a credit for
Yeah.
repairs. They also have flexibility on closing. They can have a very long close of escrow if
True.
they need to. They're having a home built. So there are some advantages and situations where this model works. And the other thing right now, it's not going to last forever, is the amount of money these iBuyers are paying for the homes. And we're going to talk about that here in just a second.
I derailed you just a little bit, but
Yeah, no,
right ahead.
it's fine. So they collectively held 2,775 homes, which will undoubtedly lead to an increase in supply. So that's a good thing.
which is really just a good thing. It's going to help meet demand.
Now, on the downside,
A
there
little
is a working relationship, not officially, but there is a working relationship between the iBuyers and the institutional buyers.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Well, the institutional investors purchased 116, or almost a quarter, of the 525 iBuyer sales.
Oh, okay. So the iBuyer obtained the house from a direct seller.
Right.
and then the iBuyer sold it to an investor, an institutional
Right.
investor.
Who turned it into a rental property.
So that's where they come into being a competition.
Right. They absorbed 25% of that 525 available
Okay.
homes to the traditional buyer.
Okay, well, 22% is not a huge number, but it is a number.
It's a quarter
Yeah.
of those that were
quarter of the
available.
inventory.
So,
Yeah.
you know, that's 116 traditional home buyers that didn't get a home.
But they're
You know.
paying top dollar because,
Yes,
You know.
and this is interesting.
yeah.
And the numbers of traditional buyers, this graph, the percentage of traditional buyers in Maricopa County peaked immediately after the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. They reached 93%. Before the pandemic, they averaged about 85%. So they did an uptick during
Okay.
the pandemic. However, in September, they've gone all the way down to 74%.
Okay.
So they're only 3/4 of all the sales, and the other 25 are
The
institutional
buyers.
or iBuyers. They're in that bucket too.
Okay.
For that particular month. Now, granted, those properties are going to come back on the market, but
Right.
nonetheless. Okay.
Okay.
So this is interesting.
In conclusion,
Yeah, institutional investors and iBuyers have been a driving force in our market over the past 5 months. Everybody knows that. Okay, the rule for real estate investing has always been to buy undervalued assets, which is what went on and what Buffett talked about in 2012.
okay.
When I view individual, and this is Tom Ruff of Armless Stats
Information
talking,
marked out.
he says, when I view individual transactions and the prices paid, I'm confused, asking myself, what is it in these models that I don't understand? And I have this conversation with myself all the time when I look at how much Zillow, Open Door, OfferPad
Yeah,
paid for a
it's-
home, my eyes bug out
It's
sometimes.
a little astounding. Yeah.
I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see Tom Ruff is having the same conversation with himself.
And he gives an example.
Yeah, he's going to give us this one example. In June, according to the affidavit of value, a traditional buyer purchased a newly built home for $382,000.
Okay.
Okay, in August, so that's 2 months, right? Bought it in June,
Yeah.
sold it in August,
Sure.
flipped it essentially to an iBuyer for $450,000. So he made $68,000 buying this home in 2 months. That's a
Wow.
nice profit. In August, okay.
No, then it sold again in
Then it sold for
September.
$450 to the iBuyer. It then sold again to
Yeah.
an institutional buyer, so they bought
Wait till you hear this.
hold in mid-September for $470,000. So it got bumped up another $20,000. The iBuyer made $20,000. This property rests in a subdivision with 38 new closings year to date, at an average of $383,000.
That's more than 90 or
$87,000.
$87,000 less than what the institutional buyer bought the home for.
Right. So if you're using those comps, the average sale is $383,000. That home,
I'm not sure Buffett had that
yeah, that's not the
profit
model.
margin in mind.
They paid essentially $87,000 over the appraised value for that home.
And okay, so let's put our investor hats on. How long is it going to take them to recoup that? How long are they going to have to rent it out? And how long,
That's the head scratching part.
Nobody knows. The
and
crystal
that's the
ball
model,
is always foggy, right?
We don't
So-
understand what model they're using that justifies them paying
Right.
$87,000 more than the home would appraise
And
for.
you had an example in Trilogy, I think, right? Were you going to talk to us about that one?
Yeah. Well, I was going to wait till I got to this next part. Yeah.
Okay.
So, additionally, this subdivision still has 17 lots available, and they have a second phase
phase.
plated, and they're buying more property. So this is not like they're going to run out of available homes, and now the value of this home is going to skyrocket. This builder is going to be around for a long, long time. So the prices are going to be closer to the 383 that they're averaging than they are 470. So I don't know. Okay. Additional inventory is coming to the area. Okay, and we're seeing that, you know, as the number ticks up a little bit. In 2012, when institutions began entering our market and properties were grossly undervalued, the use of algorithms to purchase properties made sense, as their models could be slightly off and still work. But
we all
today,
got used to looking at them and going, yeah, that's pretty close, probably.
Yeah. They're off right 5 or 10,000. They could still make that up.
Yeah.
Today, not so much.
Not so much.
Okay, so this is interesting. This was just Zillow Group Inc. was in the news these last couple weeks, and Tom Ruff references it. Maybe this just published article is a harbinger of what lies ahead. Zillow Group Inc. is pausing the purchase of U.S. homes as it works through a backlog of properties. So the question is, why do they have a backlog of properties? They allude to a shortage of support in labor.
Yes.
Okay, I guess everybody's suffering that, and I can see it takes humans to move properties. It's not just a mathematical thing that
and I think that
happens.
was part of the Zillow Group's explanation is, oh, we realize that it's not just about an algorithm. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
It takes, you know, appraisers, and it takes, you know, inspectors, contractors, decorators, you know, agents, real estate agents. So, however, okay, so the real estate, and this is according to Bloomberg News reported this Sunday, October 14th. The real estate platform acquired more than 3,800 homes in the second quarter after expanding into the home flipping business in 2018 through its Zillow Offers unit.
Wow, okay.
Essentially, we've explained this, but the company invites homeowners to request an offer on their home and uses its algorithms to develop a price. If an owner accepts, it purchases the property, makes some repairs, and puts it right back on the market.
Right.
Their explanation is, we are beyond operational capacity in our Zillow Offers business and are not taking on additional contracts to purchase homes at this time, the spokesman for Zillow told Bloomberg in an email. We continue to process the purchase of homes from sellers who are already under contract as quickly as possible.
They're trying to meet the needs of their current folks.
Right. Now, I have an example. This is a trilogy home that, again, it was eye-bugging when I saw what they paid for it, because this is one of the smaller models that they make out there in Trilogy. They paid $442,600.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
They originally listed the home for $487,000. So they could
made a little bit of a profit.
They would have made a tidy little profit. I'm sure they got some credit back from the seller. So they have that too. So if this had all fallen into place, it would have been a good deal.
Tell us what you mean by credit back from the seller. What do you mean by that?
Well, they were going to ask for, they charge a fee. It's not a free service that Zillow does. They charge 4 to 8%.
Okay. So when you see what they paid, you have to take that off of it.
Yeah, and then they were going to ask them for repair credit.
Okay, so there's more.
And it may not have cost them as much as they requested in the repair credit to change carpet or paint the home, so they probably got a little profit there.
Okay, gotcha.
However, they started listing it at $487,000. The current list price of that home after 109 days, by the way, so they have been paying the taxes, the HOA fees, the maintenance, the upkeep. They've been paying that for over 3 months now.
It's fairly expensive in Trilogy. The HOA fees
it's not cheap.
Expensive, yeah.
That home is now priced at $389,900 and is still for sale. Now remember, they
almost
paid
$100,000 less than what they originally listed it for.
Right, and they paid $442,600. and they're now trying to sell it for $389,900.
Yeah.
So you got to question whether their algorithm that they're using
burned them a little bit
is
on
burning
that
them,
one.
and that may have more to do with them pausing purchases than not having the contractors available.
Yeah.
And I'm just throwing that out there. I
Okay.
have nothing, but I'm just questioning.
Yeah, because that's not the only house that we've seen.
That's
that
not the
on.
only one that we see that on, but this is just one example.
It's an exaggerated example, but it is a live example.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. So,
All right.
and then you couple this with, to add fuel to this question, Zillow shares are down 6% pre-market at the time of this report, and they've fallen 26% year to date.
Yeah.
The S&P is up 19%, so you would think they would be up at least 19%, if not more, but they're actually down 26% year to date.
And please hear us. We're not dogging Zillow at all.
No,
this is simply a report. This is simply what's going on. Maybe you've heard some of this murmuring and wanted a better explanation. Well, now you have a better explanation of what Zillow's gone through and what, why they're pausing offers.
Just a different view. What we as on the ground level, boots on the ground, are seeing, in our little micro area.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. We're going to have to watch the iBuyer phenomenon. It's here to stay because there is a place for the iBuyer in this market. There is no doubt about that.
And we as realtors and professionals have embraced it. It certainly meets a need in the market.
The only constant is change, and this is one of them.
And it did start, 5 years ago. And, at the time we were like, nail biting. But once we learned a little bit more about it, learned how we could help our sellers through that process and still support them through it. Again, it's something that we embrace, that we do help our sellers through the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting. We'll keep an eye on iBuyers and see how that works through the end of the year. Okay, quickly,
rates.
I know this has been running really long, so we'll try to wrap it up. 30-year rate up again, 3.319. 15-year, 2.524. VA finally ticked over 3. They are at 3.074. So we are seeing an uptick of rates. Valley inventory, 7,849. Peoria's comes in at 239 and Surprise at 281. A little closer to home, Trilogy at Vistancia going into the weekend has 13 homes available.
Not bad.
The most affordable, the Zillow home that we talked about, 389,900. Maybe they'll finally get that sold over the weekend.
Hopefully so.
And the most expensive, $859,000.
Not bad, not bad.
Not bad. Vistancia Village, pretty healthy inventory. They have 25 homes available going into the weekend. So come on out to Vistancia and take a look at some of these homes.
We have some homes to show you.
Yeah, we have some homes to show you. So give us a call.
Yeah.
425,000 is the most affordable, and 899 tops the list.
I believe that 425 is in our group, our team.
Oh, is it? Oh, is that a townhome? Oh, okay.
Well, it's not townhome, it's a cluster home.
Cluster home, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Cluster home, yes. Okay. Blackstone Country Club added a home. They now have 3. The most affordable is at 830,000, and the most expensive is 1,500,000. Portobello has 13. Most affordable, 425,599, and the most expensive, 1,050,000. Sun City Grand, 26 homes available. The most affordable, 325,000. The most expensive, 789,000.
We still need to get over there. They've done some remodeling.
I want to see what that renovation to the amenities looks like, because it was blown up when we were over there.
It was looking aged. It needed to be renovated.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed, but you said, you felt it needed it. So I'm looking forward to seeing it shiny and new. We need to make a trip over there and take a look.
We will, yeah.
So
Sun City
Sun
West.
City West, 53 homes available.
Woo!
Most affordable, 200,000, and the most expensive, 689,000.
Yeah.
Finally, Westbrook Village has 9 homes available, 315 being the most affordable, and 515,000 being the most expensive.
Alrighty.
Okay, that is your long-winded report for this week. Hope
And
you
I had
didn't-
some things to share, but I can't share it. What I will quickly plug is that there are, for Vistancia, North Point at Vistancia, there are 14 quick move-in homes. They just told us about it yesterday.
Excellent.
I'm not going to go through them. My plan was to go through them, but we are out of time.
If you'd like more
So-
information, just give Julia a
Just give me a
call.
call.
She'll be glad to go over that with you.
Yep.
Okay, that's it. Have
Bye
a
for now.
fabulous weekend, a blessed week, and we will see you again next week.
Next week.
Take care.